Hello there guys, welcome back to my little YouTube channel. For today's video we are going to be focusing on some fun series that I have stumbled across, and that is going to be a Haunted Mansion series, and we're going to learn a little bit about the Haunted Mansion today. So I'm going to go ahead and show you guys how to recreate this look, as well as learning a little bit more about one of my favorite attractions, the Haunted Mansion. So go ahead, and as I'm getting ready to do my makeup, I'm just going to put on some of my favorite podcasts to listen to. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. So majority of the tutorial is going to be based on the story and the background of the Haunted Mansion ride that is at Walt Disney World. So my makeup is going to be based off of the special event makeup that they do during the special events, specifically around Halloween time, since it is becoming fall / Melloween time. So we want to make sure that we include some really cute, fun, spooky things during this fun time of the year. If you do want an in-depth way that I did the look, I will make another video that is more in depth and step by step about what I am doing. But honestly, this look was just for fun because it is definitely not a exact way that they do the makeup at the ride during the time that they do the spooky makeup that we like to call it, because it is very spooky. And the products that I'm using is definitely not the same products that they use on the maids and butlers. So I will definitely, if you are interested in seeing how this is done more slowly, then I will definitely make another video based off of that. But this is just how I kind of recreated the look. And I also wanted to talk about some of the history of the Haunted Mansion. It's probably one of my favorite attractions at Disney. And the Haunted Mansion is at, I believe, every Disney park. It was not an opening day attraction, so we did open later on. It was not long after Walt Disney World and Disneyland opened that they did add the Haunted Mansion. So if you are interested in learning a little bit of fun history about the Haunted Mansion, make sure that you stay watching because we're going to talk about that in just a moment. But if you do want a more in-depth look about how I am doing my makeup, please go ahead and leave a comment down below. I'll be more than happy to do a more step-by-step. Like I said, this is just kind of my interpretation of how the look is done. And it's definitely not exact. There have been different phases as far as like in different variations of how the makeup has been done. This is just how I wanted to achieve the look, and I just thought it was super fun to do since Melloween is right around the corner. So I'm very excited to go ahead and talk a little bit more about the Haunted Mansion. So yeah, I will go ahead and get that material out so that we can learn a little bit more about one of the really fun and creative attractions that is over at Disney. The Haunted Mansion was built in 1671 by Ub van der Eywerks, a Dutch burgomaster. He chose the site on a hill overlooking the river, despite the warnings from the town elders that he was desecrating a sacred Indian burial ground. Construction was plagued by freak accidents, causing laborers to become scarce. The burgomaster finished the bricklaying himself, stubbornly seeing the project through to completion. He moved his family in on October 31st, 1671. Details of what happened next are sketchy, to say the least. Apparently, Ub went mad and sealed himself in a tomb in the adjacent graveyard. What is clear is that Van der Eywerks' family abandoned the house. In the decades that followed, the mansion served as a pirate's hangout, a brothel, and an army barracks. Those buried in the mansion's graveyard are only a sample of the many that died on its premises. In 1871, the deed passed to Colonel Ronald Stevens, a wealthy publisher in the winning from a riverboat card game. The colonel began an extensive renovation of the mansion, which was ill-fated as its original construction had been. When Fred, a stonesman, was killed by a falling rock, Colonel Stevens took over the stone-cutting himself. He moved his family in on October 31st, 1871. Shortly thereafter, the colonel lost his mind, neglecting his lithograph business. Colonel Ronald Stevens spent his last days carving his name backwards on tombstones. He finally died in a boiler explosion. The remaining bits of him were buried under each of the grave markers inscribed Sevnets Nor. The Stevens family sold the mansion to the American Spiritualist Society, which used it as a retreat. The society converted one of its rooms into a seance circle, which was used nightly to summon departed spirits from far and wide. They had logged over 900 contacts by the time the society was disbanded in 1914. The trustees then sold the mansion to Master Gracie's father, George Gracie Sr. George Gracie Sr. bought the mansion for use as the Gracies' winter home. After George was murdered, his widow sold the Gracie estate, except for the mansion, which Master Gracie later inherited.